בחלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
Kabela You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these commandments I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live by my way. Speak of them when you're home, when you're on your way, when you lie down and get up and go about your day, as a sign on your hand and upon your head, on the side of your doorposts, my commandments may always be read. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shekemo Malechuto Leolam Vaed. Please remember, observe all these words that I've said, to live and be holy for years straight ahead. For I am your God, out of Egypt I led. Be holy, be righteous, remember the words that I've said. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shekemo Malechuto Leolam Vaed. You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these instructions I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live, oh, to live and remember my ways. generations and generations and Vador, 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 Vador.
Look around the world, look around your town. Every single age is represented all around. You see them everywhere, every street, avenue or boulevard. Anywhere, any beach, any park or any yard.
Vador, Vador, for generations and generations and Vador, 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 Vador.
Ecclesiastes said one generation goes and another generation arrives. He got it wrong. For years we all live side by side.
Can you lean on those who arrived here before? Can you learn from those you remember being born?
Can you see that we are all together evermore?
Vador, Vador, for generations and generations and Vador, 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 Vador. Vador, Vador, for generations and generations and Vador, 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 for generations and generations and Vador,
Shabbat Shalom!
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
We are beholden to the live stream these days, and we weren't
Starts.
ready.
The screen came on, and we come on too.
We got a new rabbi.
So yeah, for those of you who I have not met, although some of you were here last week, either on Friday or on Saturday, my name is Rabbi Albin, and this is only my second official Shabbat here at this Temple Emmanuel, so it is wonderful to be welcoming Shabbat with you. We're going to do a little praying. We're going to do a lot of singing. And of course, afterwards, I will invite all of you to stay for our oneg, schmooze. I can't wait to meet you or continue getting to know all of you. We are going to start with a song.
Yeah, I was supposed to sing when the camera came up. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to sing Yidei Matov, page 10. And it's been, I think, a couple years since we sang this version, so you'll pick it up. It's by the Miami Boys Choirs. Do you know this one?
I know the Miami Boys Choir. We'll see.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
Let's try it.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
I can't hear you.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים
נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים.
Okay, do you know what's about to happen? Does anyone remember?
Oy, oy, oy.
Can I try that with everyone?
Oy, oy, oy. שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים, אוי אחים גם יחד.
Trying it from the beginning.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים
אחים גם יחד. הנה, הנה, הנה מה טוב, ומה נעים. אוי 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 שבר אחים גם יחד. שבר אחים, אוי אחים גם יחד.
Wow. I did know that one.
Okay, good. It's very fun. Brandon liked it. I saw he was smiling. Yeah.
In just a moment, we are going to get ready to light our Shabbat candles, and I'll invite some up to our bima to light our candles. But before we do that, I wanted to welcome in the presence, the light really, of Shabbat by sharing this poem by Alden Solovey. It's called Sowing Light. Light is sown by the righteous, tucked into cracks in the sidewalks, dropped in the grass, breathed into the air, left waiting for others to find. You who are upright in heart, let your deeds declare your love. Let your hands be a source of healing, and let your joy be a fountain of blessing. Rejoice in righteousness and spread holiness throughout your days. Light is sown for you. Seek it, find it, magnify it in service to God's holy name. And I share that poem because really the start of Shabbat is just that. It's a call to magnify the light around us. There's so much light pouring into this room right now, but we're actually going to magnify it by lighting Shabbat candles so that we can all stare at the beauty coming from our candlesticks as we pray our Shabbat together. So to light our candles, I'm going to invite Sienna and Michelle. I'll invite you up as well.
Oh no, you don't have to.
I told you can't.
I told
Michelle,
Rabbi
I
Alvin
personally
to,
invite you up to light our candles, so please. Our candle blessings are on page 2. We'll continue now by singing a joyous Shalom Aleichem.
On page 24.
24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bo'achem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei
me, there is a lot of noise that's often in your head. I see some people nodding. Who feels a lot of noise, a lot of worries, thoughts, observations just running through your head all week long? I feel that way. And this week I've been talking to a lot of people who are thinking big things about the future of the Jewish community, about the future of our world. The world is less than perfect, and they wish it were better. And the truth is, I think we all wish, that we could fix the world around us, that the violence, that the despair that so many feel wasn't here. I would like to say, I wish I could say, that Judaism has all the answers, and it truly doesn't, has many answers, but I don't know that it's going to solve every problem in our world. But one of those answers is something so simple as Shabbat. Shabbat. There is so much noise, there is so much pain, there is so much happening in our world, but every single week, our tradition invites us to pause, maybe not to worry so much, and just to take in the moment. I'm going to share this teaching from the Sabbath by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. He writes, "The Sabbath is the most precious present that humankind has received from the treasure house of God. All week we think the Spirit is too far away, and we succumb to spiritual absenteeism. Or at best, we pray, 'Send us a little of your Spirit.' On Shabbat, the Spirit stands and pleads. It pleads, 'Accept all excellence from me.'" We're going to take a moment for Hazarat HaShavua, a moment of silence, a moment of reflection. You can think about the quote I just read. You can think about what you need out of this Shabbat. There is so much noise. There is so much worry and busyness. But for these next 25 hours, we have a moment just to take in the Spirit, just to take in the quiet, and say to our worries, they'll still be here. Let's just relax for now. So we'll take a moment. And I'll invite you all to turn now to page 20 or to look up at our screen as we welcome the Shabbat Beloved with Lechadoti.
Ay, ay, ay,
Sabbath Bride, verse 9. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha usola toch emunei am segula boi chala
Let's stay standing. We're on page 28 for the Baruch Hu, call to worship. Be seated. Next, we're going to turn to a prayer about the world. The idea, once we start our prayers leading into kind of the main section of the service, we begin giving thanks for the lights in the sky. We begin giving the thanks for the idea that we have seasons, that we have a day, we have the night, we have this beautiful day that we had today in Southern California. And so the first thing we do is have gratitude for creation. So this melody is called God of Creation by Natalie Young.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim. God of creation, who makes the evening fall with light into darkness, with the setting of the sun, you unfold the heavens with brilliant moon and stars, and
Turn to page 34 for the Shema, but it is traditional to close our eyes for this. If you could just close your eyes, even if you need to read the words, and when we start you can open them. If you close them and you just feel how you're sitting in your seat. Feel the creation the cantor sang about. And when we say that there's a oneness in the universe, we're part of that. These 6 words say there's a oneness like no other, connected to all things. And as we breathe and as we live, we connect ourselves to that oneness. And we sing Shema together. We recall how everything is connected to each other. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai We continue now on page 40 as we turn to words from the book of Exodus, the Micha Mocha, that moment when we were finally free from Egyptian bondage.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai?
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, ora tehilot osef eleh.
Ya la la la, ya la 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 la la,
So we've worked our way through thinking about our gratitude for the world, for connecting us to all of that thing that binds us together. We've sung about our freedom, and now we turn to kind of what happens at night, which is can be a little bit vulnerable. When we go to sleep, it's dark, or close our eyes. I don't know, it can be scary. So there's this prayer that sits right in the middle of our prayer service that says, okay, we understand that there's uncertainty as we go to sleep at night. So let's pray that there's this shelter of peace that comes over us so that we can sleep more peacefully and wake up in the morning with one measure of peace more in our hearts. We sing Ufros Aleinu with the 3rd line on page 42, and we also do the indented part in the 2nd section of this melody.
Ufros Aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu.
Sukkot Shlomecha. Ufros Aleinu. Sukkot Shlomecha. Ufros Aleinu. Sukkot Shlomecha. Indented part. Ushmor Tzeiteinu. Uvoeinu. Lechaim Ushalom. Me'ata ve'ad olam. Ufros Aleinu. Sukkot Shlomecha. Ufros Aleinu. Sukkot Shlomecha. With that peace in our heart, we're going to turn in a moment to page 46. But before we do that, we're going to go to page 253, which is our Misha Berach. Lots of reasons why people come to synagogue, and one of them is because there's people that we know and love and care about that are in need of healing. So we'll sing the first part of the blessing. I have a list to read, a rather long list. And then there's a list of chats online. And then I'll come around the sanctuary. I'll try to make eye contact with everybody. And when I get to where you are, just call out loud the names of the people that you love. And we'll gather all of these names and bring them into our hearts and sing on the second half of the blessing. Ida Akiba, Sylvia Alberts, Chuck Arenberg, Grace Blaustein, Marlene Breyer, Vicky Braslow, Jill Kahn, Eitan Chaim, David Childs, Ann Childs, Woody Clark, Jay Clement, Iris Cutler, Richard Dickies, Judy Fenton, Patty Goodman, Andy Hale, Helene Hale, Sis Klein, Cookie Lifshin, Kathleen Agnes McCarthy, Sheila Merowitz, Missy Peiken, David Pick, Howard Rosen, Dorothy Salkin, Sandy Silas, Lindy Sobel, Mabube Soleimani, Bill Terry, Phyllis Torse, Irving Valesanor, Harav Harona Bat Tzvia Yosef, Halina Wachtel, Pessel Bat Gittel Ve'ichel, Sonia Anwegi, Michael Wolin, Andy Wu, Yehudit Bat Nahama Mordechai, and Howard Zelikow.
Golda Bat Glickelman Menachem Mendel, David, Michelle, Shlomo, and Pat, Rosa Bat Sarah, Prudencia Ben Sarah, Irene Bat Eloisa, Jeannie Thompson, Larry Thomas, Adisa Bat Sarah, and Myra Bat Sarah, Phyllis Polak, Eileen Kramer, Warren Jacobson, the Jacobson family, Karen Alexander, Judy Fenton, Sandra Grant, Dorothy Salkin, Shira Bat Sarah. Lois Lepman, Rita Newman, Audrey, Judith Bennis, Libet Diaz, and family, Mary Berry.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
We continue back now on page 46 for the Amidah. We're going to do this first line together. If you notice, the first line has 6 words. There is a tradition as we get ready to do our prayers for the Amidah that when we do this first line, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, we go back on the first 3 words, Adonai Svatai Tiftach. So we open up a space in front of us for our prayers. And then on the next 3 words, we take tiny little steps into that space so that we have a kind of open space that has nothing there for our prayers. So please rise together, and we'll start with Adonai Svatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. May what's in our heart come to our lips.
Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi
I just realized, happy birthday, Julie. This beautiful piece that she wrote. And I always sing it and think, I don't know if I felt the sun on my face this morning. I've been in an air-conditioned building or apartment all day. But I certainly hope that everybody enjoys the heat and the cool. And this song helps contextualize what Rabbi Aaron spoke about how our days turn from the day to night and how we can appreciate nature. On this path of peace, on this road I'm walking, singing songs to you. On this path of peace, and it's a long, long road, and I'm always walking. You are everywhere. I feel you walk with me. You put me in a holy place. Walk with me in the morning. You let the sun shine on my face. So here I am. Here you are. You put me in a holy place and gave me the moon this evening, bringing to light my darkened space. So here I am, here you are, on this path of peace, on this road I'm walking, singing songs to you. On this path of peace, singing songs to you. I feel you walk with me.
Thank you for that, and happy birthday, Julie. Shabbat Shalom. Several months ago, I was listening to a family talk about their father, and he had recently passed away, and they said something that I thought was so interesting. They said that their dad believed that only if you were a doctor, that was like the only worthy occupation that a person could be. And then, of course, like two of his kids were lawyers, so he changed it. He was like, okay, there's two things that it's okay to be: a doctor or a lawyer, and that's pretty much it. And my first thought was, oh no, I'm in big trouble. I'm neither a doctor nor a lawyer, although I do have my DD degree after serving in the rabbinate for 25 years, but we really call that a didn't die degree, so it doesn't really count. But I'm neither of those. I never would be one of those, and I really don't have that in me. And then I started thinking about what would my parents say, right? What would be the things that they would want of their children? I realized all of us are in either Judaism or music, so check for them, right? You've got that too, Judaism and music. There's some lives that revolve around a family business, and it's expected that the children are going to go into that family business. Other families have, an acumen for numbers or accounting. Some are for art, some for sports. I mean, have you seen LeBron James' son? The guy is an incredible basketball player, right? So in many of these families, the pursuit of the family's goal for the offspring is a true thing, is a real thing. And then there are those who just make choices to be different. So I have a cousin in Israel. Edna is her name. Her husband's name was Muli. May his memory be a blessing. And they had literally one of the, if not the most famous restaurant in Jerusalem. It's called Fink's. It wasn't there when you were in a rabbinical school because he had 2 sons and neither of the sons wanted to take over the business. Now this restaurant literally was the oldest restaurant in Jerusalem, the oldest bar in Israel. And it was a very famous bar and restaurant. They were most famous for the fact that they wouldn't serve Henry Kissinger because he wanted to rent out the entire restaurant and they wouldn't do that for him because they have regular customers. I need to tell you, there's like 6 people that can fit in this restaurant. It was that small. Anyway, that restaurant doesn't exist anymore because neither of the kids wanted to take it over. They sold the building. There's something completely different there. And it was a great location right on the corner of Histadrut and King George, right by Ben Yehuda Street, which has all the great restaurants and all of that. It was a wonderful place. You're like, what does this have to do with our Torah portion? In chapter 32, the Israelites are literally sitting on the edge of the land of Canaanites. That's the land promised to them by God after they leave Egypt. And they are ready to go in to fulfill a 400-year-old dream from the time they started as slaves in Egypt. It was the hopes of nearly 2 million Israelites after 40 years in the desert. And they're right on the edge. They're brought up to that point where they're about to go in, and 2 of the tribes, Reuben and Gad, G-A-D, and by the way, half of the tribe of Manasseh, they come to Moses and they say, quote, "The land that God has conquered for the community of Israel is cattle country, and your servants have cattle. It would be a favor to us," they continued, "if the land were given to our servants as a holding. Do not move us across the Jordan." So everybody's there. They're all ready to go. And 2.5 of the tribes come to Moses and they're like, you know what? We really like it right here. We're going to stay here, if that's okay with you. Moses does not like this. He gets very angry. And he's like, are your brothers going to go to war while you wait here with your families safely? This is just like what the previous generation did when they scouted the land 38 years ago, putting doubt in people's minds that they could even make it into the land of Canaan. So that generation was punished. Is that what you want? Are you really going to abandon all of us right before we go into the land? The thing we've been dreaming of, hoping for all of this time? So they assured Moses, don't worry about it. We're just going to, build a couple houses here for the families and most importantly, the livestock. And we're going to be shock troops. We're going to be the first ones in. We're going to go in front of the Levites to be the fighters. And then once we take the land, we're going to return to this area and we're not going to be part of kind of the whole group that's in the land of Israel. Now, I do want to mention as an aside that this actually came back to haunt them because they were outside of the kind of geographical boundaries of the Israelites. It was very easy in the 8th century for the Assyrians to come in and completely demolish these people and take them away. So it wasn't a great, 300 years later, it turned out not to be the greatest decision ever, but the commentaries in this section of the Torah are they're concerned with, the gall of the tribes to ask to stay behind and the anger that Moses has towards them. And, they ask questions. Were they right to even ask if they could stay behind? Was Moses right in yelling at them and accusing them of poisoning all of the Israelites and minds and putting fear in their hearts? And, so the question then becomes, are we more responsible for the collective, for everybody, or can you consider your own personal needs when thinking about your life? This is actually something we're going to look into tomorrow in our Torah study. We did not know that, but we looked at the same text, but are approaching it in 2 different ways. Judaism certainly does ask us to balance between the engagement in acts for the benefit of the community as a whole and doing things for individuals. But I want to put that aside for now, because when I read this year, I thought of something completely different that came in my head. Another idea arose when I read this year. By the way, the beauty of Torah is that each year when you look at it, it can be completely different for you. So throughout the last 3 books we have in the Torah, there is a constant dream and hope to enter into the promised land. It's said over and over and over, this is where we are going. This land is going to be for us. It actually begins in the book of Genesis, but it really takes hold in the book of Exodus when Moses comes along, and the entire journey we've been reading about for the last 2/3 of the year. That's the purpose of leaving Egypt to go to the land of Canaan. That's the purpose of receiving the Torah, so there could be laws when they get into the land of Canaan. Indeed, our whole purpose of staying in the desert for 40 years was that a new generation could enter the land and begin as a new people that did not experience the slavery that was back in Egypt. Those were the hopes and the dreams of the people. Those were the hopes and the dreams of the previous generations of the Reubenites and the Gadites. We all have hopes and dreams. We have hopes and dreams for the next generation that comes after us. Indeed, our parents, I'm sure, had hopes and dreams for us when we were younger, or they may still have them. The families I mentioned earlier, they wanted their children to take over businesses. They wanted them to be doctors. They wanted them to be lawyers. These were the dreams. These were the hopes. It was in the hearts of this generation so that this next generation could have a life either that they didn't have or like that they had. So they have these dreams. I mean, think about yourself. You have hopes and dreams for yourself as well. But in this particular case, think about the hopes and dreams that your parents had for you or that you have for your children. This is an auspicious year for my personal family. Both of my girls graduated this year, one from college and one from high school. We have dreams for them. We had dreams for them. Perhaps it was dreams that they'd go to a certain university. Perhaps it's that they would study certain subjects. We have dreams and we have hopes, but if I'm being honest about these hopes or dreams, they're mine. They're my wife's. They're our dreams for our children. And we did what we could to provide them with values and skills that would be necessary to survive in the world, just as our parents did or didn't do for us. But who they are and where they end up and what they do, that's going to be where their souls take them. And I'm not sure whether that aligns with my hopes or my dreams for them. So I want to introduce you to one little concept. It's called Tzimtzum. In Lurianic Kabbalah, which is the later Kabbalah, in like the 17th century, there's Isaac Luria, had a concept of the creation of the world, where God was everywhere, all time, all space. God takes up everything. So how can anything be created if God is everywhere? So God has to kind of like pull back within God's self to create a vacuum space where God doesn't exist, and then creation can happen in that space. That, to me, is exactly this moment in the Torah and the moment in our lives. You know, I so want to say it's like leading a horse to water. You can't make him drink it, but I'm not going to say that. I think the way to think about it is this way. Right after this section of the Torah, that talks all about these people wanting to leave. And in the end, by the way, it is decided that that's what they're going to do. They're going to help them. They're going to go in as an army. They're going to fight for the Israelites. The Israelites are going to take the land, and then they're going to go back, and they're going to live in this other part of the world. Right after this section of the Torah begins another Torah portion called Maseh. These Torah portions this week are put together. It's Matot Maseh. Maseh means journeys. And I think this is the true message for us tonight. We set out on our journeys in life. They take us from place to place, from town to town. And each stop on that journey has the potential to be a lasting stop or even our last stop. Many times our journeys are based upon hopes and dreams. Sometimes it's the hopes and dreams of other people. Sometimes it's the hopes and dreams that are in our own hearts. Perhaps they've been set for us since birth, these hopes and dreams. Perhaps they've been set by our own interests and our own passions. However we got there, our journeys take us to places we may not have expected and present us with surprising outcomes and directions. As a parent, I just feel like this is telling me to share the joy in whatever journey my children take and hope that they can be open to the surprises as well. And as a person, it's teaching me to be aware that whatever direction I've taken in my life, no matter how old I am, any moment can be a realization that my direction may have changed from the original hope, from the original dream, even as my journey continues. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I'll invite you all to please rise. You can rise in your body or rise in spirit if you're not able to physically rise. And we'll turn to page 282 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tein gedula leotzer b'reishit, shehu noten shamayim ve'yotzer haaretz, u'moshav yikaro v'shamayim mimahal, u'shechinat tizo b'gohem meromim, hu Eloheinu einon, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malachi hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
May all take a seat. In just a moment, we're going to recite Mourner's Kaddish, which is an opportunity for us to think about those who are no longer with us in our lives or who are no longer with us in our community, who have passed away at this week, in years past, or more recently. Tonight, we are thinking of Anne Bisno, who passed away, who we are thinking about Shloshim, the period of the first 30 days after the death. Our community is thinking of Betty Rappaport, Sherry Lynn Caven, and Herman Garber, who passed away on this week in years past, and we're thinking of their yard site. If you are thinking of anyone tonight whose yard site it is and you'd like to share their name with our community, I'll invite you to rise and share their name with all of us as my hand makes its way around our sanctuary. So sorry. We also have names that are up on our screen whose yard site we're remembering this week.
We're waiting for names online.
And finally, if anyone here is within the first year of mourning and would like to share the name of that loved one who they're thinking of tonight, I'll invite you also to rise and share that name with us. Thank you. And names on our
Anna
screen.
Bat Sarah. I think that's it.
All right. And with that, I'll invite you all to please rise and we'll recite Kaddish, which is on page 294. I said that. Yeah. Page 294. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayachon uvyomachon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnatseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei kodesha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nehemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel, and to truly everyone on this earth. And together we can say, Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. We are going to have a couple of announcements, and Spencer's going to help me. Yes, please join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Probably one of the last services where all three of us will be here together. Ever? No. Ever. Not ever.
Let's hope not.
But please join us. We will. Rabbi Alvin will be doing the text study, and it'll be wonderful. Join us.
Look forward to seeing you there tomorrow.
And then on August 4th, please join us for High Village LA Shabbat. The last guy in that little bubble is Cantor Randall Schloss, who is the new cantor at Temple Isaiah, and we've had a great time planning this service and working together. Rabbi Alvin will be there, and Rabbi Zoe Klein will be there. So please join us. And if you have little ones, join us for Bim Bom Family Jam with Miles Platt starting next Saturday for 4 weeks at 9 a.m. It should be fun. Signed, sealed, Shabbat. Yes, we got the poster got fixed. Tickets are coming in hot, so make sure you grab a seat because we do have to cap the number due to the size of the backyard. And it'll be really fun. August 25th. Stevie Wonder will not be there, but I will be invoking his presence as I sing our prayers to his music. But no, I did not get Stevie Wonder at Temple Emmanuel. Renew your temple membership today so that you can get all of your information for high holidays. For any question that you have, you can always reach out to Tanaz. She knows. You want me to add? Yes. Okay. 1 second. Is there anything else, Spencer? No. Okay. Michelle is here, which should always remind me. But every Sunday, now for going on over 3.5 years, Michelle is. Yes. Raise your hand if you know what. Yes. Raise your hand if you know what highlights is. No, I'm serious. Raise your hand if you know what highlights is. Okay, Rabbi Aaron, don't look back. How I'm going to be like the spies. How many people do I have to find that know what highlights is before I make a T-shirt that says, read your highlights?
4.
4 people have to know what highlights is?
Are there 4 in the room?
Not, maybe?
Non-staff.
No, seriously. When I said, what is highlights? Raise your hand really high if you knew what I was talking about.
Oh.
Alyssa, you don't count. 1, 2, 3.5. I'm saying 3.5, Rabbi Aaron. Guys, Highlights is our weekly newsletter that comes out weekly. Raise your hand if you read our newsletter but never noticed that it was called Highlights. Okay, all right. All right. I want T-shirts.
How about that more? Was that more?
A few more. But I think I would like T-shirts on every seat for the high holidays that say #read your highlights. Then maybe people would. No? Are you a fan? Are you on my side or Rabbi Aaron's? Bracelets.
Oh, is this a division?
Yes, this is a division.
I've never said I was against the T-shirt.
I'm looking for a sponsor for 600 T-shirts. Okay. Anyways, Michelle said more information can be found in our weekly email, which is called Highlights, that comes out on usually Tuesdays or Wednesdays. So please read your highlights. Thank you to Elizabeth on the keys, always the best, to Spencer, to Amanda, who's greeting us back there, to our executive director, Sarah Heiner, who is greeting us online. And is there anyone who has never been here before who would like to quickly stand up and tell us where you're from? Should we bring a mic here?
No.
Yeah, Casey, you can too. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rosa Vasquez, and my son invited me to come here tonight. We live in Toluca Lake, and it's lovely to be here, so thank you.
Welcome.
I'm Casey. I came last week, and I just wanted to just experience it again. Yeah, make it part of my weekly routine.
Welcome.
Awesome. And you brought your mom. Next week, bring your aunt.
Oh, by the way, I had some people on YouTube. It figures that the people on YouTube know what Highlights is. Carol Anderson, thank you. Pamela Bennett, thank you. Valerie, thank you. And Carol says, I thought you meant Highlights magazine that I read in the 1970s.
Oh, that is true, actually.
And again in the 1990s with my child. Just saying. Okay.
What, Cantor-wise, what are we doing for our closing
This
song
very
today?
unique song called Oseh Shalom.
I think I've heard of it.
Please feel free to stand up, put your arms around each other if you feel comfortable.
Yes.
Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al ha'olam.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.